There are moments in life when everything feels strangely different, yet nothing seems to have outwardly changed. The people around you appear the same, your home looks unchanged, your daily routine continues, but something within you knows. A shift has occurred. Reality bends not through force, but through the quiet movements of the mind. You have stepped into a new version of yourself, and with it a new world has unfolded around you. Perhaps you notice how effortlessly things align for you now. The struggle you once knew has faded, replaced by a quiet certainty that life is unfolding in your favor. The things you used to chase now seem to come to you. You speak and the right people appear. You think and circumstances rearrange themselves. What was once a hope is now a knowing. You do not question whether your desires will manifest. You recognize that they already have. The moment you stopped looking at reality as something fixed, it responded by flowing in your direction. Maybe you feel disconnected from the past, as if the events that once defined you no longer hold the same weight. The memories are there, but they seem distant, almost as if they happened to someone else. The pain you once carried feels foreign, as though you have stepped out of an old story and into a new script. The relationships that once drained you have faded, and in their place you find new connections that reflect the person you have become. You wonder why you no longer resonate with certain places, habits, or thoughts, but it is because you are no longer the person who created them. The world mirrors who you are being, not who you were. You find yourself meeting people who speak in ways that echo your inner thoughts. Strangers bring you messages as if the universe is using them to confirm what you already know. A sentence in a book, a phrase overheard in passing, a sign that catches your eye. Each one seems to answer the question you didn't even ask aloud. You are in the right place, at the right time, in a reality that responds to the frequency of your consciousness. Time feels different. Some days move like a blur, others stretch as if eternity is contained within a single moment. The urgency you once felt has disappeared. You no longer chase time because you understand that you are beyond it. You realize that what you seek is not in the future, but here, in the eternal now. The waiting game is over because you no longer believe in lack. You embody the truth that all things are already yours, and so they reveal themselves to you in divine sequence. You begin to see that the world around you is softer, more fluid, more dreamlike. Colors appear more vibrant, the air feels lighter, and even the most ordinary moments are filled with an unexplainable beauty. You wake up with a sense of peace, an inner knowing that all is well, even if you cannot explain why. The external world may try to convince you otherwise, but deep inside, you are unshaken. You have left behind the illusion of doubt and stepped into the certainty of creation. You no longer need proof from the outside world because you understand that the world is a reflection of you. Your mind shapes reality, not the other way around. What once required effort now happens naturally. The more you accept this, the more evidence appears, not to convince you but to affirm what you already trust. You smile to yourself, recognizing that you have become the cause, not the effect. The old way of thinking dissolves, and with it the old world you once knew. Reality has shifted because you have shifted. The mirror no longer reflects who you were, but who you have chosen to become. And in this realization, you know you have already crossed the threshold into a parallel world, one where you are no longer hoping but living the truth of your imagination. There is a moment, subtle yet profound, when you realize the world no longer moves against you but flows effortlessly in harmony with your desires. You cannot pinpoint the exact second it happened, nor can you explain it in words that satisfy the logical mind, but something within you knows. You have shifted. You have stepped into a parallel reality, one that reflects the transformation of your consciousness, and yet it happened so naturally that you hardly noticed. The evidence is everywhere. The way the air feels lighter, as if a burden has been lifted from your soul. The way you wake up with a quiet certainty that all is unfolding exactly as it should. You no longer ask for signs because you no longer need them. The search for confirmation has dissolved, replaced by a deep inner knowing that what you once hoped for is now simply a part of you. What seemed distant is now here, and what once felt impossible is now unfolding with ease. You observe the world around you, and suddenly the familiar feels unfamiliar. The streets you have walked 1,000 times seem different. The conversations you once entertained now feel empty. You no longer resonate with the same arguments, distractions, or fears that once held you captive. The people in your life shift. Some fade away effortlessly, while others appear as if drawn to you by an unseen force. You are not doing anything differently on the outside, yet everything around you is adjusting to meet the frequency of your inner world. You notice that time itself no longer feels the same. There are moments when hours pass like seconds, and others when a single moment stretches into eternity. The urgency you once felt about achieving your dreams is gone, because you understand now that you are already living them. The waiting game has ended, not because the external circumstances have changed overnight, but because your perception of time has shifted. The future is no longer something ahead of you. It is something you are pulling into the now with every thought, every feeling, every assumption. Memories of your past begin to feel distant, as if they belong to another version of you, one who no longer exists. The pain, the disappointments, the limitations, they all seem like shadows of a reality you have stepped out of. When you try to recall how it felt to struggle, you find that you cannot. It is not that you deny what once was, but rather that you have detached from it completely. You are no longer the person who suffered, and so you no longer live in the world where suffering was necessary. Your manifestations appear more quickly, more seamlessly, without the strain of effort. What once required intense focus now requires only belief. You think of something and it appears. You desire something and it is drawn to you with perfect timing. The invisible hand of divine orchestration moves all things into place without your interference. You do not chase, you do not force, you do not grasp at reality, trying to mold it into shape. You simply assume, and reality conforms. The laws that govern this world respond to the certainty of your mind, not to the effort of your hands. The people around you begin to reflect your inner transformation. Some will tell you that you seem different, though they cannot explain why. Some will look at you with confusion, as if they sense something has changed, but cannot grasp what it is. Others will drift away entirely, unable to match the vibration of the reality you now occupy. New faces appear, new opportunities arise, and everything that once felt like an obstacle is replaced by a path that opens effortlessly before you. You feel a peace that you never knew before. The external world may still move in its chaos, but it no longer disturbs you. The circumstances that once triggered fear or doubt now pass through you like wind through an open window. You have stepped beyond reaction, beyond resistance. There's no need to fight what is, because you now understand that all is unfolding from within you. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Dreams that once felt distant now feel inevitable. The person you once aspired to be is no longer a future version of yourself, but the one you are embodying in this very moment. You do not wait for external proof to believe. You believe, and so the proof appears. You live as if your desires are already fulfilled, and in doing so, you pull them into form. The outer world is catching up to the shift that has already occurred within you. You begin to notice how fluid reality truly is. What once felt solid and unchangeable now bends effortlessly to the assumptions you hold. Money flows easily, not because you chase it, but because you no longer resist it. Love appears, not because you seek it, but because you have become it. Opportunities arise, not because you struggle for them, but because you are aligned with the version of yourself that naturally attracts them. What you once labeled as luck, coincidence, or destiny is now revealed to be nothing more than the result of the consciousness you embody. Your dreams no longer feel like distant goals to be achieved. They feel like memories of a future that is already real. You no longer ask when it will happen, because you understand that it already has. The illusion of separation between thought and manifestation has dissolved. The moment you decide something is yours, reality rushes to make it so. The only thing that ever delayed your manifestations was your own disbelief. Now, you believe effortlessly, and so reality bends without resistance. You begin to understand that shifting into a new reality is not a matter of struggle, but of surrender. It is not about forcing the world to change, but about allowing yourself to step into the version of you that already exists in the reality you desire. The path was never about effort, but about alignment. The moment you accepted this truth, the world rearranged itself to reflect it. Your body feels lighter, your mind is clearer, your emotions no longer control you, for you have learned to control them. You have mastered the art of assumption, the power of faith, the realization that reality is simply a mirror reflecting the state of your consciousness. You no longer live by effort, but by knowing. You do not beg for what is already yours, you claim it with certainty. You do not wait for signs, you create them with belief. You do not chase anything, for you understand that all things are drawn to you when you align with their frequency. The world outside of you continues to unfold in perfect harmony. People, places, events, they all shift effortlessly to accommodate the reality you have chosen. You watch in awe as life moves in your favor without force, without resistance. Every moment affirms that you are exactly where you need to be, experiencing exactly what you have aligned with. You see now that nothing ever happens to you, it happens through you, in response to you, as a perfect reflection of the consciousness you hold. You have shifted, and though the world may still seem familiar, you know deep within that nothing is the same. The reality you live in now is one of your own making, shaped by the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the certainty with which you walk. The old world has faded, and the new world has risen in its place. And the greatest realization of all, this was never about changing the world. It was always about changing you. This shift is subtle, yet undeniable. You wake up one day and the world around you feels different, though nothing outwardly seems to have changed. The same people, the same places, the same routines, yet something within you knows that you have stepped into a new reality. You try to explain it, but words fall short. It is not something that can be proven to others. It is something only you can feel. The air seems clearer, time flows differently, and a deep sense of peace replaces the restless search you once carried within you. You no longer seek signs because everything now speaks to you. The clock aligning to a perfect sequence, the song lyrics that echo your thoughts, the stranger's words that answer an unspoken question. These are no longer mere coincidences. They are reflections of your new state of being. You have become one with the flow of life, and in doing so, the world has begun to respond to you in ways you never imagined possible. Your desires no longer feel distant. They do not exist in some far-off future waiting for you to reach them. They feel present, as if they are already a part of your reality. You no longer wonder if they will come, you know they already have. The delay that once plagued you has vanished, because you no longer believe in waiting. You have embraced the truth that the moment you assume something to be real, it is already done. You do not chase, you do not force, you simply know, and the world reshapes itself accordingly. The past no longer defines you. The memories that once haunted you have lost their power. When you think back, it is as if those events happened to someone else, in another lifetime, in another version of reality that you no longer occupy. The pain that once clung to you now feels foreign, unfamiliar, as though it belongs to a story that is no longer yours. You have stepped out of the identity that suffered, and with it you have left behind the reality that contained that suffering. Your thoughts have become your greatest tool, and you wield them with intention. You do not react to circumstances, you create them. You understand now that what you entertain in your mind is what will manifest in your world. There is no outside force controlling your destiny. You are the writer, the director, the creator. Every thought, every assumption, every feeling is shaping the reality you walk into. And so you guard your mind carefully. You do not dwell on lack, on fear, on doubt. because you know that to do so would only create more of it. Instead, you think only of what you desire, knowing with absolute certainty that it must come to pass. You find yourself surrounded by different people. Some old faces remain, but many have faded away, unable to follow you into this new reality. You do not mourn their absence because you understand that they were only a reflection of the old version of you. The ones who remain, the ones who have appeared, are those who match the new frequency you have stepped into. They speak the language of possibility, of abundance, of certainty. They mirror the new you, the one who no longer doubts, who no longer waits, who no longer questions whether or not they are worthy of the life they desire. Synchronicities increase. Things you once labeled as luck or coincidence now happen so often that you can no longer deny their significance. You think of someone and they call. You imagine an opportunity and it appears. You desire something and it finds its way to you with perfect timing. There is no struggle, no resistance, no need to chase. Everything flows naturally, effortlessly, as if reality itself is rearranging to fit your vision. And in truth it is. You no longer feel separate from your desires. You have become one with them, and so they manifest without effort. You have lost the need to control. The fear that once dictated your actions has disappeared. You no longer try to force outcomes because you trust that all is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not rush. You do not panic. You do not cling to things that are leaving. You understand that whatever is meant for you cannot miss you, and whatever is no longer aligned with your path will fall away effortlessly. There is no need to grasp, no need to hold on. What is truly yours will stay. You no longer measure progress the way you once did. You do not look at the physical world for proof, for you know that everything is already complete in the unseen before it materializes in the seen. You do not doubt just because your eyes have yet to witness it. You understand that reality is shaped from within first, and so you trust what you feel over what you see. You live as if it is already done, and because of that, it becomes done. The illusion of waiting disappears, replaced by the certainty of knowing. The struggle to prove yourself to others is gone. You do not need validation. You do not seek approval. You do not require anyone to understand your path. You know who you are. You know what you are capable of. You no longer look outside of yourself for confirmation because everything you need is already within. The opinions of others no longer sway you, for you have built your foundation on something unshakable, your own belief. The energy of your life has shifted. The things that once drained you no longer hold power over you. The environments that once felt heavy are no longer a match for you. You do not engage in conflict, in negativity, in drama, because you understand that to do so would be to invite that energy into your reality. Instead, you walk in peace, you move with purpose, you radiate certainty. And because of that, life responds to you with the same energy you put out. You have mastered the art of assumption. You do not hope, you assume. You do not wish, you declare. You do not wait, you claim. You have stepped into the version of yourself that already has everything you desire, and because of that, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is not magic, nor is it a secret. It is simply the law of existence. The external world is a mirror, nothing more, nothing less. And you have learned to use that mirror to your advantage. Your days are filled with an unshakable peace. You wake up knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly. You move through life with confidence, no longer questioning whether or not things will work out in your favor. You know they will. And so you no longer ask, have I shifted? You no longer seek proof. You no longer wonder if you are in a different reality. You know. You feel it in every breath, in every step, in every moment that unfolds before you. You have shifted, and the world has shifted with you. The old reality is gone. The old struggles have faded, and you are now standing in the version of life you once dreamed of. And the most powerful realization of all, this was never about forcing reality to change. It was never about manipulating the outside world. It was always, only, ever about shifting you. And the moment you did, reality had no choice but to follow. You find that time no longer moves the way it once did. Moments stretch and contract in ways that defy logic. You think of something and suddenly it appears before you faster than ever. Or perhaps the things you once obsessed over now seem distant, irrelevant, as if they belong to a reality you have left behind. You no longer feel bound by the clock, by deadlines, by the frantic rush of the world around you. There is a stillness within you, a quiet understanding that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not need to chase, to force, to control. You simply are, and that is enough. The people in your life begin to reflect your inner shift. Some fade away effortlessly, as if their presence was only meant for the version of you that no longer exists. You do not hold on to them, you do not try to bring them back, for you understand now that every person who crosses your path is a reflection of your inner state. New faces appear, people who mirror your new energy, your new beliefs, your new assumptions. They speak your language, they understand without explanation. The relationships you once had, based on struggle and misunderstanding, are replaced by connections that feel effortless, as if they were always meant to be. You notice the way the world reacts to you has changed. You walk into a room and people seem drawn to you without knowing why. You speak and your words carry a power they never had before. You no longer feel like a passive observer in your own life. You are the center, the source, the cause. You have shifted into the version of yourself that commands reality, not by force, but by absolute certainty. Others feel this, though they may not understand it. Some will admire it, some will resist it, but it does not matter. You are no longer concerned with how others perceive you, because you know that perception itself is an illusion. Your emotions no longer control you. Where once you were tossed by the waves of doubt, fear, and frustration, you now remain steady. You do not react, you observe. You feel emotions arise, but instead of identifying with them, you watch them, knowing that they are not you. You do not spiral into worry, because you know that every state is temporary, every thought fleeting, every moment an opportunity to choose again. You choose peace again and again, and so peace becomes your reality. The fear that once gripped you now seems absurd. The anxiety that once ruled your mind now feels foreign, as if it belonged to someone else entirely. And in truth, it did. It belonged to the old you, the one you have left behind. Your dreams are no longer distant fantasies. They feel near, tangible, as if they are already part of your world. You do not question how they will arrive, you simply know they will, and so they do. You walk through life as if you already have everything you have ever wanted, and because of that, reality bends to match your assumption. The external world is no longer something you battle against, something you must change. It is a mirror, nothing more, nothing less. It reflects back to you exactly what you expect, and you have learned to expect the best. The things that once frustrated you no longer do. You do not engage in arguments. You do not waste energy proving yourself. You do not try to convince anyone of anything. You understand now that everyone is experiencing their own reality, shaped by their own beliefs, their own assumptions. You do not need to change them. You only need to focus on your own state of being. And as you do, the world around you shifts effortlessly. You begin to notice the small, miraculous moments that once escaped you. The way the sun feels warmer on your skin, the way the wind carries messages, the way nature itself seems to whisper in agreement with your thoughts. The world is alive, conscious, responding to you in ways you never noticed before. You are no longer separate from it. You are one with it. The rules you once believed in no longer apply. You were told things take time, but you see now that time is only a construct of the mind. You were told success requires struggle, but you now live in a reality where success flows with ease. You were told you must work hard to be worthy, but you have come to understand that you were worthy all along. The old beliefs, the limitations, the barriers, they were never real. They were only reflections of the thoughts you once accepted as truth. And now that you have shifted, those old truths have crumbled, replaced by a reality that serves you. You no longer wait for signs. You do not ask the universe for permission. You do not hesitate, wondering if you are on the right path. You have become the sign. Your certainty is the signal. Your belief is the proof. You have stepped into a version of yourself that no longer seeks confirmation, because you know deep within that you are always exactly where you need to be. The concept of luck dissolves. You no longer view success, love, and abundance as random occurrences that happen to some and not others. You see clearly now that everything is a reflection of state. Those who assume they are lucky will always be lucky. Those who assume they struggle will always struggle. You have released the old state, and in doing so, you have stepped into a reality where things work in your favor, not because of chance, but because you have chosen it. Your inner dialogue shifts. The voice that once doubted you has gone quiet. The thoughts that once sabotaged you no longer have a place in your mind. You speak to yourself with love, with encouragement, with absolute belief. You no longer ask if things will work out. You assume they already have. You do not dwell on failure, for you know failure is just an illusion, a stepping stone to the next moment of success. And then, one day you wake up and realize you can no longer relate to the version of you that once struggled. The worries that once consumed you now seem ridiculous. The limitations you once believed in feel like a distant memory. You have shifted, fully, completely, into a new reality. Not because the world has changed, but because you have changed. And that is all it ever took. You walk through life with a sense of ease that was never there before. The tension that once lived in your body has vanished. The weight of uncertainty, the pressure of proving yourself, the endless struggle to be enough, it has all dissolved. You no longer chase because you know you do not need to. You no longer fear because you trust. There is a deep knowing within you that everything is already unfolding perfectly. You no longer resist life, you flow with it, and because of this, life itself flows in your favor. You begin to notice how people respond to you differently. Strangers smile at you more often, opportunities arise effortlessly, and conversations seem to hold deeper meaning. You are no longer invisible to the world. You radiate something unspoken, something magnetic. You do not seek attention, yet it finds you. You do not seek validation, yet you are validated by life itself. You move through the world with quiet confidence, with an energy that speaks louder than words. The things that once triggered you no longer hold power over you. Someone says something unkind, and instead of reacting, you simply observe. You do not absorb negativity because you understand it has nothing to do with you. You no longer take things personally because you know that everything is a reflection of state. If negativity no longer lives within you, it cannot affect you. The old patterns, the old reactions, they belong to a past version of you that no longer exists. You have stepped beyond them. Your desires feel closer than ever, not as distant dreams, but as present realities. You no longer ask when things will happen, you live as if they already have. You do not wait for proof before you believe first and the proof follows. You understand now that you are always shifting, always choosing, always moving toward the reality that aligns with your assumptions. You do not force change, you become the change. You embody the energy of the life you desire, and reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. You see the world differently now. The same streets, the same sky, the same faces, yet everything feels new. Colors seem richer, sounds more vivid. You feel more connected, as if the world itself is responding to your energy. The synchronicities increase. Numbers align, messages appear at the perfect moment, events unfold with divine precision. You realize these things were always happening, but you were not yet aware. Now you see, now you know. You no longer dwell in the past, the old regrets, the what-ifs, the things that once haunted you They hold no weight here. You have stepped into a reality where the past no longer defines you. The memories may still exist, but they no longer carry pain. You have rewritten your story, not by changing the past, but by changing you. And because you have changed, the meaning of everything that came before has changed with you. You feel lighter. The burdens you once carried, the guilt, the doubt, the fear of failure, have all dissolved. You no longer need to be perfect. You no longer need to control everything. You have surrendered to a greater knowing, a deeper trust. You walk forward with an open heart, allowing life to meet you with the same openness. And because of this, life feels kinder, softer, more abundant. The need for external validation fades. You no longer look to others to tell you who you are. You do not seek approval because you have approved of yourself. You do not seek love because you are love. You no longer fear being misunderstood because you understand yourself. The people who belong in your reality now are those who reflect your wholeness, not your wounds. The relationships that once drained you naturally fade, and in their place, connections of truth and authenticity emerge. The material world does not dictate your inner state anymore. You may have once felt trapped by circumstances, by bank balances, by the opinions of others, but now you see beyond the illusion. You understand that the external is only a reflection of the internal, and the moment you shift within, the outside world rearranges itself accordingly. You do not worry about how things will unfold. You trust that they will. And so they do. You notice how effortlessly things fall into place, the delays, the resistance, the endless striving. Those were all symptoms of an old reality where struggle was necessary, but now things come with ease. You do not chase after opportunities, they come to you. You do not fight for love, it flows effortlessly. You do not force success, it unfolds naturally. You have aligned with the version of yourself where things happen smoothly, and so they do. You feel a deep sense of peace, not because life is suddenly perfect, but because you no longer require perfection to be at peace. You are no longer waiting for the next achievement, the next milestone, the next external confirmation to feel fulfilled. You are fulfilled now, here, in this moment. And because of that, life continues to give you more reasons to feel fulfilled. You realize that reality itself is fluid, bending, shifting, molding itself to your assumptions. The moment you change your mind, reality changes with it. The things you once believed were set in stone now feel malleable. You no longer believe in limits because you have seen how easily they dissolve. The impossible now seems entirely possible. You no longer ask if miracles exist, you live them. You feel gratitude, not just for the big things, but for everything, for the air you breathe, for the warmth of the sun, for the smallest moments of beauty. Gratitude is no longer something you practice, it is something you are. And because of that, life continues to give you more reasons to be grateful. You no longer try to convince anyone of anything. You do not need to. You understand now that everyone is living in their own version of reality, shaped by their own beliefs, their own assumptions. You do not waste energy trying to awaken those who are not ready. You simply are. And your being is enough. Those who are meant to see will see. Those who are meant to awaken will awaken. You have no need to push, to force, to argue. You simply live in your truth, and that is more powerful than any words could ever be. You wake up each morning with a sense of excitement, not because of what might happen, but simply because you exist. You no longer live in expectation of the future. You are fully present in the now. The joy you once thought could only come from reaching a goal is now something you experience every day, in the smallest moments, in the quietest spaces. You realize that you have already become everything you once sought. You are no longer seeking love, success, happiness. You are living it. And because of that, more of it continues to flow into your life effortlessly. You have shifted. Not because you waited, not because you forced it, but because you became it. And now, as you stand in this new reality, you know without a doubt that this was always possible. that this was always within you, that you were never waiting for life to change. You were only waiting to see that you had the power to change it all along. You notice that time feels different. The days no longer drag on endlessly, nor do they slip away unnoticed. Instead, time bends to your awareness. Moments of joy seem to stretch infinitely, while things that once brought frustration pass by quickly, as if they no longer hold weight in your world. You are not rushing toward the future, nor are you stuck in the past. You exist in the eternal now, fully present, fully alive. And because of this, life responds to you in kind. What you need arrives at the perfect moment. What you desire manifests effortlessly. You are no longer at war with time, you are in harmony with it. People from your past reappear, not by chance, but because you have shifted. Some come to acknowledge your transformation as if drawn by an unseen force. Others return, yet they feel like strangers because they belong to an old version of you that no longer exists. You see clearly now that relationships are reflections. The people who remain in your life are those who align with your new state of being. The ones who fade away do so because they are no longer a match for who you have become. There is no sadness in their departure, only gratitude for the role they played in your journey. The way you make decisions has changed. You no longer hesitate, no longer doubt yourself. The confusion that once clouded your mind has lifted, replaced by a deep inner knowing. You trust yourself completely. You no longer ask, "What should I do?" Instead, you listen. And the answer comes not from logic or fear, but from a place beyond thought. You act with certainty, as if guided by an unseen hand, because you are. The days of second guessing, of seeking reassurance, of needing external validation, those days are gone. You move with confidence, because you know that the path before you is already laid out. Your dreams feel more vivid, more real than ever before. At night you step into worlds that feel just as tangible as waking life. You receive messages, glimpses of what is to come, reminders of what you already know deep within. You wake up with the feeling that something has shifted, even if you cannot put it into words. The veil between dreams and reality grows thinner, and you realize that both are equally real. You understand now that what you see in your dreams is not separate from your waking life. It is a preview, a creation in motion, a reality waiting to unfold. Your thoughts manifest faster than ever before. What once took months or years to materialize now appears in days, sometimes moments. You think of someone and they call you. You imagine an outcome and it happens. There is no doubt, no hesitation, no wondering if it will come. You simply expect it, and so it does. You do not force, you do not chase, you do not beg. You simply assume, and reality aligns accordingly. The invisible laws that govern creation are no longer theories to you. You have tested them, witnessed them, lived them. And because of this, you no longer ask how things will happen. You trust that they already have. You experience moments of déjà vu, but not in the way you once did. It is not just a fleeting sensation, it is a deep, undeniable knowing. You walk into places you have never been, yet they feel familiar. You hear words spoken that you feel you have heard before. It is as if you are remembering a life you have already lived, a reality you have already chosen. And in those moments you smile, because you understand now that time is not linear. The past, present, and future exist all at once, and you are simply stepping into the version of yourself that you have already created. You realize that the struggles you once faced were never punishments, never obstacles. They were only signs that you were not yet aligned with what you desired. There was never anything working against you. The only resistance was within you. And now that you have shifted, the struggles dissolve. What once felt like barriers now feel like stepping stones, guiding you to exactly where you were meant to be. You no longer see problems, you only see possibilities. You no longer feel lack, you only feel abundance. You have transcended the need to struggle because you understand that life was never meant to be difficult. It was only waiting for you to stop resisting. You feel an overwhelming sense of love, not just for others, but for yourself. The self-criticism, the doubt, the unworthiness, they have all vanished. You look in the mirror and see yourself not as flawed, not as lacking, but as divine. You understand now that you were never broken, you were never incomplete. You were always whole, always worthy, always enough. And because you have embraced this truth, love flows to you effortlessly. Love is no longer something you search for, it is something you are. The need to explain yourself disappears. You do not waste energy justifying your dreams, your choices, your beliefs. You do not argue with those who do not understand, because you know that understanding is not required. You do not seek to be accepted, because you have accepted yourself. And because of this, you are free. Free from the expectations of others, free from the limitations of the past, free to live in full alignment with your truth. The past no longer defines you. The pain you once carried, the mistakes you once regretted, the wounds that once felt permanent, they no longer hold power over you. You have rewritten your story not by changing the past, but by stepping into the version of yourself that has already healed. The past exists only as a memory, and you are no longer attached to it. You are no longer bound by what was. You are only guided by what is. You feel a connection to something greater than yourself, something vast, infinite, divine. You understand now that you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe. You are not a small being moving through life. You are life itself, expressing through form. The feeling of isolation, of being alone in your struggles, has disappeared. You know now that you are supported, always, that the universe is not outside of you, but within you, that every experience, every moment, every shift is guiding you closer to the truth of who you are. You no longer try to force reality to bend to your will, because you see now that it was never about control, it was always about surrender. Not surrender in the sense of giving up, but surrender in the sense of allowing. You allow life to unfold as it was meant to. You allow your desires to come to you effortlessly. You allow yourself to trust in the unseen. And because of this, life feels lighter, easier, more miraculous. You have shifted, not by luck, not by chance, but by choice. You have stepped into a parallel reality, not through effort, but through alignment. And now as you look around, you realize that everything is different. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. And as you continue to walk this path, you understand one thing with absolute certainty. This was always your destiny. You were always meant to awaken. You were always meant to see beyond the illusion. You were always meant to step into the highest version of yourself. And now you have. There is a sense of peace that follows you wherever you go. The noise of the world, the endless distractions, the chaos that once felt overwhelming, it no longer affects you. You are no longer pulled in 1,000 directions, no longer chasing after things that do not serve you. You move through life with ease, unbothered by the opinions of others, unaffected by the negativity that once drained you. The things that used to trigger you, the conflicts that once consumed you, now feel distant, as if they belong to someone else entirely. You realize that you no longer need to react to everything around you. Instead, you observe. You choose where to place your energy. You understand now that true power lies not in controlling the external world, but in mastering your internal state. You notice that your surroundings reflect your inner transformation. Colors seem more vibrant, sounds more harmonious, the air itself feels lighter. Even the people you encounter seem different, kinder, more open, more aligned with the energy you now embody. The conversations you engage in are no longer filled with complaints, gossip, or fear. Instead, they are uplifting, meaningful, filled with wisdom and purpose. The environments you find yourself in feel safe, supportive, abundant. It is as if the entire world has conspired to mirror back to you the shift that has taken place within. There is a knowing within you that cannot be explained, only felt. You no longer seek answers outside of yourself because you understand that everything you need to know is already within. The questions that once tormented you have dissolved, not because they were answered, but because they no longer matter. You are no longer searching for your purpose because you have become it. You do not need signs or confirmations from the outside world because your own intuition has become your guiding light. You trust yourself fully, knowing that every step you take is leading you exactly where you are meant to go. Your perception of abundance has changed. Wealth is no longer something you chase. It is something you attract effortlessly. You have shifted from a mindset of lack to one of complete sufficiency. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You feel gratitude before receiving, knowing that everything you desire is already yours in the unseen. Money, success, love, all of it flows to you not because you struggle for it, but because you have aligned with the energy of already having it. You realize now that abundance was never about accumulating more. It was always about recognizing what you already are. Your body feels different, lighter, stronger, more alive. The aches and pains that once weighed you down have vanished, as if your physical form has adjusted to match the new frequency you are living in. You no longer crave the things that once drained your energy. The foods you eat nourish you in ways they never did before. The need for excessive rest has diminished because you no longer carry the burdens of worry and stress. Your body moves with ease, responding to the clarity and peace that now reside within you. Your emotions no longer control you. You feel deeply, but you are no longer enslaved by your feelings. Sadness, anger, frustration, they come and go, like passing clouds in the sky, but they do not define you. You have learned to witness them without attachment, to allow them to move through you without resistance. You do not suppress, nor do you dwell. You simply allow. And because of this, emotions no longer drain you, they empower you. Every feeling, every sensation is simply another expression of the life flowing through you. You notice synchronicities everywhere, numbers repeating, symbols appearing, moments of perfect alignment that cannot be explained by coincidence. You think of something, and moments later it appears in your reality. You speak of a person, and they call you. The universe seems to be in constant conversation with you, reflecting back your thoughts, your energy, your state of being. You understand now that these are not random occurrences. They are confirmations, proof that you are in harmony with the greater intelligence that orchestrates all things. You are no longer afraid. Fear, once the invisible chain that held you back, has dissolved. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of uncertainty, they no longer hold power over you. You have stepped beyond them, realizing that fear was never real to begin with. You move forward with courage, not because you no longer face challenges, but because you know they cannot stop you. You no longer hesitate, no longer wait for the perfect moment, because you understand that the perfect moment is the one you decide to act upon. Your past no longer defines you. The stories you once told yourself, the limitations, the regrets, the mistakes, they have all lost their grip on you. You are no longer reliving the same cycles, no longer repeating the same patterns. You have broken free. You have rewritten your narrative. You have stepped into a version of yourself that no longer carries the burdens of yesterday. You look back with gratitude, but you do not dwell. The only direction that matters now is forward. You have stopped seeking happiness outside of yourself. It is no longer found in material things, in achievements, in validation from others. It is within you, constant, unshakable. You wake up each day with a deep sense of contentment, not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you no longer need it to be. You understand that happiness is not something you chase, it is something you choose. And because of this, life responds to you in ways that feel nothing short of miraculous. You no longer resist change. What once felt frightening now excites you. You welcome the unknown, knowing that every shift, every transformation is only bringing you closer to your highest self. You do not cling to the past, nor do you try to control the future. You surrender to the flow of life, trusting that it is always guiding you to exactly where you need to be. The need to struggle, to force, to push against reality has faded. You allow, and in allowing, you receive. You feel an overwhelming sense of unity with everything around you, the trees, the sky, the people you pass on the street. You see yourself in all of them. The illusion of separation has vanished. You understand now that you are not just a single being moving through the world. You are the world. Every experience, every interaction, every moment is a reflection of the infinite presence that flows through you and around you. You are at peace, not just in fleeting moments, but always. This peace is not dependent on circumstances, not shaken by external events. It is rooted deep within you, unmovable, eternal. You have become the embodiment of stillness, the eye of the storm, untouched by the chaos that once surrounded you. You understand now that peace was never something to be found, it was something to become. And now you are it. You have shifted. There is no doubt, no questioning, no wondering if it has happened. You know. And as you stand in this new reality, you realize that the greatest secret of all was never hidden from you. It was only waiting for you to see. The world has not changed. You have. And because you have changed, the world now reflects the truths you have always known deep within. That you are limitless, that you are powerful, that you are the creator of your own reality. And so you stand here now, awakened to the truth that was always within you. You have shifted, not because the world outside of you changed, but because you did. You no longer seek signs of transformation because you are the transformation. You no longer wonder if you have stepped into a new reality because every moment confirms it. You are no longer bound by the past, nor fearful of the future. You exist fully, powerfully, in the now. And in this moment, you realize there was never anything to force, nothing to chase, nothing to prove. The life you desired was always waiting for you to claim it. The power was always yours. And now, as you embrace this truth, the world bends to meet you, aligning in perfect harmony with the vision you hold. You are not merely living life, you are creating it. You are not separate from your dreams, you are one with them. And as you step forward, unshaken, unwavering, you understand that this is only the beginning. The universe is yours, because you are the universe. I want to remind you today that God has a plan for your life. It's not a plan of confusion, fear, or uncertainty. It's a plan of hope, purpose, and divine timing. Sometimes we look at our lives and wonder why things aren't happening the way we expected. We pray, we believe, we do our best, yet it feels like we're stuck in the waiting room of life. But I want you to know that God is never late. He's never behind schedule. His timing is always perfect. You may not see it right now, but every delay, every closed door, and every unexpected turn is leading you closer to the destiny He has prepared for you. The scripture says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." That means before you were even born, God already laid out the blueprint of your life. He knew every challenge you would face, every victory you would celebrate, and every moment where you would have to trust Him completely. But here's the challenge. We often get impatient. We want things to happen on our timeline. We pray and expect instant results. When it doesn't happen, we start questioning. God, did you forget about me? Have you abandoned me? Why are things taking so long? But I want to encourage you today. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God isn't working behind the scenes. Just because the answer hasn't come yet doesn't mean God has denied your request. Sometimes He's preparing you for what He has prepared for you. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He had a dream that one day he would be in a position of great influence. But before that dream became reality, he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and placed in prison. For years, it looked like nothing was happening. It seemed like God had forgotten about him. But what Joseph didn't realize was that in every setback, God was setting him up for something greater. The very things that looked like obstacles were actually stepping stones leading him to his destiny. Maybe you're in a place right now where you don't understand why things are taking so long. You've been praying for a breakthrough, believing for a promotion, trusting God for a relationship, but nothing seems to be moving. Let me remind you, just because you don't see it doesn't mean God isn't working. He's aligning the right people, opening the right doors, and putting everything in place. He knows when you're ready. He knows when the situation is ready. And when it's time, no force on earth can stop his plan from unfolding. You don't have to try to force things to happen. You don't have to live frustrated, wondering when it's going to work out. God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are beyond what we can imagine. If he is making you wait, it's because the blessing he has in store for you is worth the wait. He's growing your faith. He's developing your character. He's strengthening you so that when you step into what he has promised, you'll be ready to handle it. Think about an eagle. Before it takes flight, it sits in the nest, waiting for the right moment. The mother eagle knows that if the baby eagle tries to fly too soon, it won't have the strength to soar, so she waits. She allows the eagle to grow stronger, to develop its wings, to build endurance. And when the time is right, she pushes the eagle out of the nest and it begins to soar. That's what God is doing in your life. You may feel like you're in a waiting season, but God is strengthening your wings. He's preparing you to soar higher than you ever imagined. Sometimes the delays we face are not denials, they're divine protections. God is keeping you from something that isn't right for you. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and thank him for not answering certain prayers the way you wanted. You'll see that his plan was far greater than anything you could have imagined. Maybe you've been praying for a certain job and the door keeps closing. Maybe you've been believing for a relationship, but things aren't working out. Instead of getting discouraged, start thanking God. Thank him that he's in control. Thank him that he knows what's best. Thank him that he's directing your steps. When you release control and trust in his timing, you're showing God that you have faith. Abraham and Sarah had to wait years for their promised child. They tried to take matters into their own hands, and it only led to frustration. But when they finally surrendered, when they stopped trying to force it and trusted God's timing, the promise came to pass. If God has put a dream in your heart, if he's given you a vision for your future, don't give up just because it's taking longer than expected. The delay doesn't mean denial. It means God is getting everything in place. When you trust God's timing, you can live in peace. You don't have to be anxious. You don't have to wonder if things will work out. You know that at the right time, God will bring the right opportunity, the right people, and the right breakthrough. It may not happen the way you thought, but his way is always better. I want to encourage you today. Keep believing. Keep standing in faith. Keep trusting that God's plan for your life is unfolding in the perfect way, even when you don't see it, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Know that behind the scenes, God is orchestrating something greater than you could ever imagine. The waiting season is never wasted. It's a season of preparation, of growth, and of positioning for what's next. The waiting season is never wasted. It's a season of preparation, of growth, and of positioning for what's next. When you look back at your life, you realize that the moments when you had to wait, when things didn't seem to be moving, were actually the moments when God was working the most. He was shifting things in your favor, putting the right people in place, and aligning your steps with his perfect will. So often we get caught up in what hasn't happened yet. We focus on what we don't have, on the prayers that haven't been answered, on the dreams that seem so far away. But God is saying, trust me. I see the bigger picture. I know the perfect timing. You may not understand it now, but every closed door, every delay, and every unanswered prayer is setting you up for something far greater than you could ever imagine. Maybe right now you're facing a season where it feels like nothing is happening. You're praying, believing, standing in faith, but you don't see any movement. Let me encourage you. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean God isn't working. He's moving behind the scenes, arranging things in your favor, preparing you for the next level. The delay is not a denial. It's a divine setup for something greater. Think about David. He was anointed to be king at a young age, but he didn't step into that position right away. He had to go through years of preparation, facing battles, overcoming obstacles, and proving his faithfulness. He could have gotten discouraged, thinking, God, you said I was going to be king. Why is it taking so long? But David understood that God's timing was perfect. He didn't try to force things to happen. He didn't get bitter. He didn't walk away from God's promises. He stayed faithful in the waiting, and at the right time, God elevated him. Maybe you're in a place right now where you feel like you're being overlooked. Others are getting promoted, getting married, stepping into their calling, and you feel like you're stuck in the background. But let me tell you, just because you're hidden doesn't mean you're forgotten. Just because you don't see progress doesn't mean God isn't positioning you. There's something powerful about trusting God when you don't understand. When you say, God, I don't know why it's taking so long, but I trust you, I believe your plan is bigger than mine, that's when you position yourself for favor. There's a story in the Bible about the Israelites. God had promised them the land of Canaan, a land flowing with milk and honey, but instead of taking them straight there, he led them through the wilderness. What should have been an 11-day journey took 40 years. Why? Because they weren't ready. They had the wrong mindset. They were complaining, doubting, and focusing on what they didn't have. And because they wouldn't trust God's timing, they missed out on what He had for them. Don't let that be your story. Don't let impatience rob you of your destiny. You may not see the full picture now, but God knows what He's doing. If He's making you wait, it's because He's preparing something greater than what you had in mind. You have to come to a place where you trust Him so completely that even when things don't make sense, even when the doors don't open, even when it feels like nothing is changing, you still say, God, I trust you. I know you are working all things together for my good. Think about Noah. God told him to build an ark because a flood was coming. It had never rained before, and people thought he was crazy. But Noah didn't question God. He didn't say, God, are you sure? This doesn't make sense. No, he trusted God's plan even when he didn't understand it. For years, he kept building, kept preparing, kept believing. And when the flood finally came, he and his family were safe because he had obeyed. Maybe right now, God is asking you to build something. Maybe He's telling you to prepare, even though you don't see any signs of what's coming. People may not understand. They may question you, criticize you, laugh at you. But you have to trust that if God told you to do it, He has a reason. Keep building, keep preparing, keep believing. Because when the time is right, God is going to open doors that no one can shut. One of the greatest tests of faith is trusting God when you don't have all the answers. It's easy to trust Him when everything is going smoothly, when the finances are there, when the opportunities are lining up. But real faith is trusting Him when nothing makes sense. When you're waiting, when you're wondering, when you're tempted to doubt, that's when your faith is being strengthened. The enemy wants you to get discouraged in the waiting. He wants you to start questioning God's goodness, to start doubting His promises. But you have to make up your mind that no matter how long it takes, you're not going to lose faith. You're not going to let fear, frustration, or impatience take over. You're going to stand firm, knowing that God is faithful. There are some things in life that only God can do. You can't force the right doors to open. You can't make certain opportunities happen. But you can position yourself by staying faithful, by keeping the right attitude, by refusing to give up. When you do that, you're showing God that you trust Him, and He will reward your faithfulness. I've learned that sometimes God delays things because what He has planned is bigger than what we imagined. If He gave it to us too soon, we wouldn't be able to handle it. The blessing would be too much. So He takes us through a process. through a season of stretching, of growing, of learning to depend on Him. And when the time is right, He brings the breakthrough, and we realize that every moment of waiting was worth it. Think about a farmer. He plants the seeds, waters them, takes care of them, but he doesn't see the harvest right away. He has to trust that beneath the soil something is happening. Even when he doesn't see any signs of growth, he knows that in the right season, the harvest will come. That's how it is with God's timing. You may not see anything happening right now, but beneath the surface, He's growing something in you. He's strengthening your faith. He's preparing you for what's ahead. You have to trust that when it's time, your breakthrough will come. When it's time, the right door will open. When it's time, the promise will be fulfilled. Until then, keep being faithful, keep showing up, keep believing that God's plan is greater than anything you could ever dream of. You may have moments where you feel like giving up, where you wonder if God is really hearing your prayers. But let me remind you, God is not a man that He should lie. If He said it, He will do it. If He promised it, it will come to pass. It may not happen when you want it to, but it will happen at the right time. God is saying, trust me. I've got you in the palm of my hand. I know what I'm doing. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm leading you to something greater. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to have all the answers. Just trust in the one who does. He's working, He's moving, and He's leading you to a place of blessing beyond anything you could ever imagine. You may not realize it, but right now God is arranging things in your favor. He is positioning you for the breakthrough, for the opportunity, for the answered prayer. You may not see anything changing, but that doesn't mean He's not working. What He promised is still on schedule. The people you need to fulfill your destiny are already lined up. The resources, the favor, the open doors, they are on their way. During the day that you are not aware, the night. But here's the key. You have to trust His timing. If you get impatient and try to make things happen in your own strength, you may step outside of His best. Sarah and Abraham made that mistake. God promised them a child, but when years went by and nothing happened, they decided to help God out. Sarah told Abraham to sleep with her maidservant Hagar so they could have a child. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but it wasn't God's plan. That decision led to heartache, strife, and division in their family. When God gives you a promise, it's not your job to figure out how it will happen. It's not your job to force it to come to pass. Your job is to trust, to believe, and to stay faithful. God doesn't need your help to fulfill His word. He doesn't need you to manipulate circumstances or try to open doors that He hasn't opened. When it's the right time, He will make it happen, and it will be better than anything you could have arranged. Maybe you've been praying for a breakthrough, believing for a promotion, standing in faith for a dream to come to pass. You've done everything you know to do, but nothing is happening. You're tempted to get discouraged, to start doubting, to question whether it's ever going to work out. But let me remind you, just because it's taking time doesn't mean God has changed His mind. Delay does not mean denial. There's a reason for the wait. Sometimes God is protecting you from something you can't see. Sometimes He's strengthening your character so you'll be ready for what's ahead. Sometimes He's making sure all the pieces are in place so that when the door opens, you will walk into it with confidence. Look at Joseph. God gave him a dream that he would be a leader, that he would rule over nations. But instead of stepping right into that position, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and later put in prison for something he didn't even do. If anyone had a reason to question God's timing, it was Joseph. He could have thought, God, I had a dream. I know you called me. Why is this happening? But Joseph didn't give up. He didn't let the delays cause him to lose faith. He stayed faithful where he was. He kept honoring God, kept serving with excellence, kept believing. And at the right time, after years of waiting, Joseph was promoted to second in command over all of Egypt. What if Joseph had given up in the prison? What if he had let discouragement talk him out of his destiny? He would have never seen the fulfillment of what God had promised. Some of you are in a waiting season right now. You've been faithful. You've been doing the right thing. But it feels like you're stuck. Nothing is changing. You're wondering, God, when is it going to happen? Let me encourage you. Don't lose faith. Don't give up just because it's taking longer than you expected. The same God who was faithful to Joseph, who turned his situation around overnight, is the same God who is working in your life. At the right time, in a moment, God will shift things. One phone call, one divine connection, one idea, one opportunity, and suddenly everything will change. The years of waiting, the struggles, the disappointments, they will all make sense. You will look back and say, now I understand why it had to happen this way. The enemy will try to convince you that nothing is happening. He'll whisper, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. But God's timing is not our timing. A delay is not a defeat. A waiting season is not a wasted season. God is using this time to prepare you, to grow you, to strengthen your faith. He is molding you into the person you need to be for the blessing He has prepared. Sometimes God withholds things from us because He loves us too much to give them to us too soon. Think about a child who wants to drive a car. They may be eager, excited, convinced they are ready. But a loving parent won't hand them the keys until they are mature enough to handle it. It's not that the parent doesn't want them to have the car. It's that they want them to have it at the right time, when it won't destroy them. In the same way, God has amazing things in store for you, but He's not going to release them until He knows you're ready. If He gave you the promotion too soon, you might not have the character to handle the pressure. If He gave you the relationship before you were emotionally healed, it might not last. If He gave you the opportunity before you were prepared, it might overwhelm you. God knows what He's doing. He is a God of perfect timing. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. If He's asking you to wait, it's because He's preparing something better than what you had in mind. The delay is not punishment. It's preparation. It's God's way of getting you ready for what He has in store. While you're waiting, don't get discouraged. Keep your faith strong. Keep praising, keep believing, keep expecting. Speak life over your situation. Declare, God, I know you are faithful. I may not see it yet, but I trust you. I believe my breakthrough is coming. When you keep the right attitude in the waiting, you are setting yourself up for a suddenly moment. God has not forgotten you. He has seen every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of faithfulness. He has heard every prayer, and He is working behind the scenes. The moment He has planned for you is already on the calendar. At the right time, you're going to see His favor, His breakthrough, His increase. You don't have to figure out how it's going to happen. You don't have to manipulate things or make it happen in your own strength. Just be still and know that He is God. Trust that He is leading you, guiding you, and working all things together for your good. If you stay in faith, if you keep believing, if you don't let the enemy talk you out of it, then at the right time the promise will come to pass. What God has spoken over your life will happen. The waiting will be worth it. The delay will make sense, and you will step into the fullness of everything He has planned for you. The breakthrough is coming. The doors will open. The healing will manifest. The opportunity will come. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep expecting, because your time is on the way. You might be facing challenges right now. You may be battling sickness, financial difficulties, or feeling stuck in life. But I want to tell you, don't let your circumstances dictate your future. You are not at the mercy of life's ups and downs. You are a child of the Most High God, and He has a plan for you that will not be thwarted by any obstacle or setback. God has a destiny for you, and that destiny is filled with promise, favor, and blessings beyond what you can imagine. But you have to walk by faith, not by sight. You have to trust that even when things look bleak, God is working on your behalf. The scripture says, we walk by faith and not by sight. And the scripture says, Im gon elivona I esheno. It's easy to walk by faith when everything is going well, when your plans are unfolding perfectly, when your dreams are coming true. But the true test of faith comes when things aren't going according to plan, when life throws unexpected twists your way. That's when you have to trust that God is still in control. That's when you have to remind yourself that His plan is better than your plan, and His timing is better than your timing. You see, faith is not just believing that God can do something. It's believing that He will. It's trusting that He is working in the background even when you can't see the evidence. Faith is believing that your breakthrough is coming even when the road ahead looks uncertain. It's choosing to trust God's plan for your life, even when you don't have all the answers. And God will never leave you in the dark. He promises in His word that He will direct your steps. Proverbs 3:05-06 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." It doesn't say that you'll always understand what's going on. It doesn't say that everything will always be smooth and easy, but it does say that if you trust in Him, He will guide you. He will make your path straight. That means, no matter how winding or difficult the road may seem, God will direct you. He will lead you to where you need to be. He will open the right doors and close the wrong ones. You may not see it now, but trust that He is working behind the scenes. Just because you can't see the answer doesn't mean He hasn't already worked it out. There are times in life when you will face things that are beyond your understanding, things that don't make sense, things that challenge your faith. But I want to encourage you today, when you don't understand, you don't have to panic. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to get anxious. All you have to do is trust. Trust that God has a plan. Trust that He is faithful. Trust that He will make everything work together for your good in His perfect timing. I know it's not always easy. I know it's not always comfortable. Sometimes you feel like you've been waiting forever. But let me remind you, God doesn't waste anything. The seasons you're in right now, the challenges, the struggles, they are not wasted. God is using them to prepare you for what's ahead. What you are going through today is part of His plan to shape you into the person you need to be. If you find yourself in a waiting season, don't get discouraged. God is not ignoring you. He is preparing you. You are in His waiting room, and in this waiting room, He is doing something deep inside of you. He is strengthening your faith. He is building your character. He is developing your patience. He is teaching you to trust Him more. And when you come out of this season, you will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared to handle the blessings that are coming your way. You see, the waiting season is not a season of stagnation. It's not a season of wasted time. It's a season of preparation. God is working in you, shaping you, molding you, making you ready for the things He has for you. Don't rush through it. Don't try to skip ahead. Embrace the process. Stay faithful where you are. Keep trusting, keep believing, keep praising. You may not understand it all right now, but trust that God has a purpose in the waiting. He's making sure you're ready for the next level. And when He opens the door, you'll be ready to step into everything He has prepared for you. In the meantime, I encourage you to keep your heart in a place of gratitude. You may not have everything you want yet, but you have everything you need. You may not see the breakthrough yet, but you have God's favor on your life. You may not be where you want to be, but you are closer than you were yesterday. And while you wait, thank Him for what He's doing in you and around you. Gratitude is a powerful thing. It shifts your perspective. It reminds you of how far you've come and how much God has already done in your life. It keeps your heart in a place of faith. It reminds you that God is good, that He is faithful, and that He has not forgotten you. One of the greatest things you can do while you wait is to keep your focus on God's promises. Don't focus on the delay. Don't focus on what's not happening. Focus on what God has already promised you. Remember His word. He says He will provide for you. He says He will heal you. He says he will open doors that no man can shut. He says he will restore what has been lost. Focus on those promises. In Philippians 4:6-7, the Apostle Paul writes, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This scripture tells us not to be anxious about anything. I know it's easier said than done, but if you can trust God's plan, you can experience peace in the waiting. When you trust that God is working on your behalf, when you trust that He is arranging things in your favor, you can rest, you can relax, you don't have to worry. Let me tell you, God's peace is powerful. It's not the kind of peace the world offers. It's not the kind of peace that comes from having everything figured out or knowing how things are going to turn out. It's the kind of peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, God is in control. When you have that kind of peace, you can endure the waiting season. You can keep your joy, you can keep your praise, you can keep your faith. You don't have to let the uncertainty of the future rob you of the peace God has already given you. Remember, God is faithful to His promises. He will fulfill what He has spoken over your life. His plan is bigger than any setback. His timing is perfect. Trust that He is working in your life even when you don't see it. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep praising. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is on the way. The promises God has made will come to pass. And when it does, you will look back and see how God has been working behind the scenes, making all things beautiful in His time. Trust His timing. He is never late. He is always right on time. There is no circumstance in your life too heavy for God to lift, no storm too fierce for Him to calm, no burden too great for Him to turn into a blessing. What you see as struggle today is merely the preparation for something greater, something beyond your present understanding. Your tough situation is not a punishment, but an invitation to trust, to surrender, and to know that all things are being worked together for your good. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the very thing you desire most. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Feel the joy of it as if it were already yours. Do not allow the weight of the current moment to convince you that you are alone, for you are never alone. The same God who placed the stars in the sky has already prepared a path for you, a way through the trial that will not only bring relief, but abundance. Faith is not waiting for the evidence to appear before you believe. Faith is believing before you see. Whatever hardship you face, whatever mountain seems too high to climb, begin to see it as the very instrument that is carving you into the person who will receive the blessing. There is no wasted suffering in God's plan, only transformation, only renewal. Your mind is the birthplace of miracles. What you dwell upon, what you assume to be true, is what will shape your reality. If you assume that you are abandoned, that this suffering will never end, then that is the world you will walk in. But if you assume that this very challenge is working in your favor, if you dare to trust that God is orchestrating a divine outcome, you will see your hardship turn into a doorway of unimaginable blessings. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, when he was sold into slavery, when he was imprisoned unjustly, the world would have called him a man who had lost everything. But God saw something greater. He saw a ruler, a man being shaped by his struggles, a man whose hardships would lead him to a throne. What looked like suffering was, in truth, the divine hand of favor, guiding him towards something beyond human comprehension. You may feel trapped in a moment of uncertainty, but within you is the power to choose how you see it. Speak as though the victory has already arrived. Declare that your circumstances are shifting, that blessings are on their way, that everything is working together for your highest good. And as you continue in this faith, your world will begin to rearrange itself in alignment with that truth. There is nothing lost, that cannot be restored 100-fold. The job you lost, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that slipped through your fingers, none of it is gone forever. When you trust in divine timing, you will see that what seemed like loss was only redirection, moving you towards something far greater than you imagined. Hold this truth in your heart. Your struggle is not permanent. It is the cocoon before the butterfly, the seed beneath the soil, the night before the sunrise. Every tear you have shed, every moment of doubt, every hardship, God is using it all to shape you, to mold you, to bless you beyond measure. Stand firm in faith, knowing that your toughest situation is the very ground upon which your greatest blessings will grow. There is a power within you far greater than the world around you, a power that does not bow to circumstances, that is not limited by what the eyes can see or the ears can hear. This power is the voice of God within, the divine presence that speaks through faith, through vision, through the deep knowing that no matter how dark the night, the dawn is certain to come. The situation you are facing now, the weight upon your shoulders, the uncertainty in your heart, these are not signs of your defeat. They are the shaping forces of something extraordinary, something beyond your imagination. What looks like delay is divine timing. What looks like suffering is transformation. What appears to be an ending is merely the beginning of a far greater story. The world will tell you to judge by what you see. It will whisper doubts. It will magnify fear. It will convince you that nothing is changing. But if you truly understood the nature of God, you would not be moved by what the world presents before you. You would know that beyond every obstacle is a door. Behind every trial is a lesson, and within every trial is a lesson waiting to be revealed. Look beyond appearances. See with the eyes of faith. When the waves crash against you, do not be afraid. For even the ocean is under divine command, and just as he parted the sea for Moses, he will part a way for you. Your mind is the soil in which the seeds of your future are planted. If you dwell on lack, on fear, on what is missing, you will continue to walk in the shadow of struggle. But if you dwell on the promise, if you see yourself already victorious, already restored, already walking in abundance, then nothing in this world can keep your blessing from you. Faith is not about begging for change. It is about knowing that the change has already taken place in the unseen. It is about assuming the feeling of your answered prayer, carrying yourself as if your breakthrough has already arrived. When the walls of Jericho stood tall, the Israelites did not focus on their height or strength. They did not let their eyes deceive them. Instead, they obeyed, they believed, and they moved forward in faith. And on the appointed day, those walls did not simply weaken, they collapsed entirely. This is the power of unwavering faith. What looks immovable will move. What you have been praying for, hoping for, believing for, is already on its way to you. Do not curse the difficult season you are in, for it is preparing you for a blessing that your former self could not yet carry. If a tree is not pruned, it will not bear fruit. If gold is not refined, it will not shine. And if you are not tested, you will not step into the fullness of your destiny. You are not being abandoned, you are being prepared. Every delay, every rejection, every closed door, it is all part of the divine orchestration of your future. God is not taking anything from you. He is making room for something better. Think of the farmer who plants his seeds. He does not see the harvest immediately. He does not dig up the soil each day in doubt, wondering if anything is happening beneath the surface. No, he trusts the process. He knows that though he cannot see it, the seed is growing, the roots are taking hold, and in due time he will reap a harvest. The same is true for your life. What is unseen is not non-existent. Just because you do not see your breakthrough does not mean it is not unfolding. Trust the process. Trust that even in the silence, even in the stillness, God is working all things together for your good. Joseph was sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned. From the outside, it looked like setback after setback, but in reality, it was the divine setup. Every hardship was positioning him, molding him, preparing him for the place where he was destined to be. Had he not been thrown into the pit, he would not have reached the palace. What others meant for harm, God used for good. This is the truth of every trial. What seems like a loss is only redirection. What feels like suffering is the very thing making you stronger. If you could see what God sees, you would not worry. You would not doubt. You would know that everything is happening exactly as it should. There is no force in this world that can stop what God has ordained for you. No person, no setback, no mistake can take away what is divinely yours. The only thing that can keep you from your blessing is your own disbelief. If you speak against your breakthrough, if you align your words with fear, if you see yourself as a victim rather than victorious, you will remain where you are. But the moment you shift your perspective, the moment you declare that this trial is working in your favor, the moment you see yourself already walking in victory, the unseen forces of heaven move on your behalf. Do not pray from a place of desperation. Pray from a place of assurance. Speak as though it is already done. Thank God not just for what He has done, but for what He is about to do. Let your words be a reflection of your faith, not your fear, for what you declare will manifest. If you say, I am defeated, defeat will follow. But if you say, I am rising, I am blessed, I am favored, then blessings will seek you out, favor will surround you, and doors will open in places you never imagined. It is not your job to figure out how it will happen. It is not your responsibility to control the process. Your only job is to believe, to stand firm, to trust that what God has promised He will fulfill. The moment you let go of control, the moment you surrender your need to see immediate results, that is when the breakthrough will come. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned yourself with divine timing. You may not understand why you are facing this season, but one day you will look back and see how every moment was necessary. You will see how the closed doors protected you, how the disappointments redirected you, how the waiting strengthened you. And when the blessing finally arrives, you will realize that not a single moment was wasted. Stand firm, speak life over your situation. Know that this tough moment is not the end of your story. It is merely the prologue to a testimony so great that you will look back in awe at how God turned it all around. You are walking towards something extraordinary. Do not give up. Do not lose faith. The blessing is already on its way. Every trial you face is shaping you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. It is stretching you, refining you, strengthening you for the very thing you have been praying for. If everything came easily, if there were no struggles, no setbacks, no challenges, you would not develop the wisdom or resilience to handle the blessings that are meant for you. Look at your life and recognize that nothing is happening by accident. Every delay, every obstacle, every moment of uncertainty, it is all part of the divine process. Nothing is wasted in God's plan. Even the moments that seem unfair, even the losses that seem unbearable, are serving a higher purpose. You may feel as though your prayers have gone unanswered, as though you have been waiting for far too long. But what if the delay is actually protection? What if the thing you desire most is being prepared for you just as you are being prepared for it? What if the very situation you are in right now is the training ground for the person you are meant to become? Do not despise the process. Do not rush ahead of divine timing. Trust that the God who placed the vision in your heart will bring it to fulfillment in a way that is far greater than you imagined. When the Israelites were led out of Egypt, they thought their struggle was over. But then they found themselves at the Red Sea, with the enemy pursuing them from behind. They could have believed it was the end. They could have given in to fear. But in that moment, God made a way where there was no way. The sea that should have drowned them instead became the path to their freedom. This is how God works. What looks like the end is often the very thing that leads to your breakthrough. The enemy that appears to be gaining ground over you will not have the final say. What was meant to destroy you will only elevate you. But you must hold on to faith. You must believe even when there is no evidence to support your belief. Even when the situation seems to be getting worse. Even when the doors remain closed. Even when the waiting feels unbearable, stand firm. Faith is not tested in times of ease. It is tested in the moments when everything seems uncertain. That is when you must decide whether you will trust in what you see or in what you know to be true in your heart. Think of a mother carrying a child in her womb. She does not see the baby growing day by day, but she knows it is happening. She does not doubt that in the right time she will give birth. She trusts the process. She prepares for the arrival of what she has not yet seen. This is the kind of faith you must have. You may not see the evidence of your breakthrough yet, but that does not mean it is not coming. It is already unfolding, already taking shape, already moving toward you in ways beyond your understanding. And when it comes, it will not be a small blessing. It will not be ordinary. It will be beyond what you expected, beyond what you thought possible. God does not do things halfway. When He restores, He multiplies. When He blesses, He overflows. Look at Job. He lost everything, yet in the end he received twice what he had before. Look at Joseph. He went from being a prisoner to ruling a nation. Look at the disciples. They thought the cross was the end, but 3 days later, they witnessed the greatest miracle of all. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. What you are going through now is not a sign of abandonment. It is a sign that something greater is being prepared. The pressure you feel, the weight of the struggle, is simply an indication that you are on the verge of something extraordinary. A diamond is only formed through immense pressure. Gold is only purified through fire, and your spirit is only strengthened through the trials you endure. What if instead of seeing this moment as a burden, you saw it as an opportunity? What if instead of asking why this is happening to you, you ask what this is preparing you for? What if instead of feeling discouraged, you felt expectant, knowing that something incredible is on its way? The way you perceive your situation will determine how you experience it. If you see yourself as defeated, you will walk in defeat. But if you see yourself as victorious, if you declare that this is working in your favor, then nothing will be able to stop what is coming to you. There is no power greater than the power of God working in your life. There is no situation that He cannot turn around. The sickness you are facing, the financial struggle, the heartbreak, the disappointment, none of it is beyond His ability to restore. He is the God who heals, the God who provides, the God who lifts up those who have been cast down. And when He moves, He does so in ways that leave no doubt. You will look back on this moment and see that it was necessary. You will see that, had you not walked through this season, you would not have grown into the person who could receive the blessing that is coming. You will see how every tear, every prayer, every moment of perseverance was shaping you, refining you, strengthening you for the life you were always meant to live. Hold on to faith. Speak life into your situation. Stand firm in the knowledge that God is working all things together for your good. The tough situation you are in right now is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something far greater than you ever imagined. The blessing is already on its way. When you understand the nature of faith, you realize that your external circumstances are simply reflections of what is being shaped within you. The struggle you are facing is not there to break you. It is there to awaken you. It is there to stretch your belief, to elevate your understanding, to bring you to a place where you no longer rely on what you see, but on what you know to be true in your heart. Look at the way a seed is planted in the darkness of the soil. At first, nothing seems to be happening. Day after day, the earth remains still, and to the outside world it looks as if nothing has changed. But beneath the surface, deep in the unseen, something powerful is taking place. The seed is cracking open, its roots are pushing down, and its potential is beginning to take shape. The same is true for your life. You may feel buried under the weight of your challenges. You may feel hidden, unseen, forgotten. But just as the seed must remain underground for a time before it emerges into the light, your growth is happening in the unseen places. It is happening in the moments of struggle, in the times of waiting, in the silent prayers whispered in faith. God is not only aware of your situation, He is using it. He is turning what was meant for harm into a tool for your transformation. You may not understand it now, but trust that every delay, every closed door, every unexpected detour is moving you towards something far greater than you can imagine. There are moments in life when everything seems to be working against you. You pray, but the situation does not change. You believe, but the mountain remains unmoved. It is in these moments that your faith is tested. Will you give up? Will you surrender to fear? Or will you stand firm, knowing that even when you cannot see the way, God is still making a way? Think of Abraham, who was called to leave everything familiar and walk into the unknown with nothing but a promise. Think of Moses, who stood before the Red Sea with an army behind him and no escape in sight. Think of David, a shepherd boy, standing before a giant with nothing but a slingshot and faith. None of them could see the full picture. None of them had all the answers, but they moved forward in faith. And because of that, the impossible became possible. Your situation may seem impossible, but it is only a setup for a miracle. The greater the challenge, the greater the testimony. When God moves, He does so in a way that no one can deny. He does not simply bring you out of the storm. He allows the storm to shape you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for what is coming next. You are not waiting for God to bless you. You are already blessed. The blessing is not something that comes from outside of you. It is something that is awakened within you. When you change the way you see your situation begins to change. When you start to believe that everything is working for your good, you align yourself with the divine plan that has already been set in motion. Even the pain you have endured has a purpose. The disappointments, the betrayals, the losses, they were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to refine you. They were meant to remove the things that no longer serve you, to bring you to a place where you are no longer attached to the temporary, but anchored in the eternal. Look at the process of refining gold. The gold is placed in the fire, not to destroy it, but to remove the impurities. The fire burns away everything that is not gold, leaving behind something pure, something valuable, something unshakable. This is what God is doing in your life. The fire you are walking through is not there to consume you. It is there to purify you, to prepare you for what is coming next. If you knew what was on the other side of this challenge, you would not waste a moment in fear or doubt. You would rejoice knowing that what looks like a setback is actually a setup. You would walk through this season with confidence, knowing that your greatest blessings often come wrapped in the disguise of struggle. You may feel like you have lost time, like too much has been taken from you. But God is a restorer. He's not just going to bring back what was lost. He's going to multiply it. He's going to give you more than you had before. The years you spent in pain, the moments you spent wondering if things would ever change, they are not wasted. They are seeds sown into the soil of your destiny, and in the right season they will produce a harvest greater than you imagine. God does not do things halfway. When He restores completely. When He blesses abundantly. Think of Job, who lost everything, yet in the end received double what he had before. Think of Joseph, who was betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned, yet was elevated to a position of power that saved nations. You may feel as though you are in the prison of your situation, waiting for the promise to be fulfilled. But the prison is only temporary. The struggle is only temporary. Your story does not end here. This is only a chapter, and the best is yet to come. Hold on to faith. Speak life into your situation. Declare that this is working for your good even when you do not see it. The words you speak shape your reality. Do not speak defeat over your life. Do not speak fear. Speak victory. Speak faith. Speak as if your blessing has already arrived, because in the spiritual realm it has. The world will tell you to fear, to doubt, to expect the worst. But you are not of the world. You are a child of the Most High, and He has called you to walk by faith, not by sight. When the world says it is impossible, God says all things are possible. When the world says you are defeated, God says you are more than a conqueror. Everything is shifting in your favor. Even now, even in the midst of the struggle, things are aligning. The doors that were once closed will open. The opportunities that seemed lost will be restored. The pain that felt unbearable will become the foundation of your greatest strength. You are standing on the edge of something extraordinary. Do not be discouraged by what you see now, for what is coming is far greater. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that God, who began a good work in you, will bring it to completion. The tough situation you are in now is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater than you ever imagined. Keep your faith strong, for the breakthrough is already on its way. Every great transformation begins in the unseen. Before the rain falls, the clouds must first gather. Before the tree grows, the seed must first break open. Before your life shifts, your faith must first be tested. What you are facing right now is not a sign of failure, but a sign that something greater is being prepared. It may look like you are stuck, but you are not stuck. You are in transition. The discomfort you feel is the stretching of your spirit, the expansion of your faith, the preparation for something beyond what you have imagined. God does not take you through the storm without giving you the strength to endure it. The difficulty you face is not a punishment, it is a process. You are not being buried, you are being planted. You are not being abandoned, you are being prepared. Everything that appears to be working against you is actually working for you. The pain, the waiting, the uncertainty, it is all shaping you into who you were created to be. There are moments in life when you will feel like you are walking through the fire. The intensity will make you question whether you will make it through, but you will. You were created to withstand the fire. It is not there to destroy you. It is there to reveal what is within you. Gold is refined in fire, and so are you. Every trial is burning away doubt, fear, and limitation. Every struggle is stripping away the false identity you once carried. What you are becoming through this process is greater than anything you have lost. Do not focus on what has been taken away. Focus on what is being built within you. The transformation happening in your spirit is worth more than anything the world could give you. You are not losing. You are gaining something far more valuable. You are being positioned for blessings beyond your comprehension. The way forward may not always be clear, but that is where faith comes in. Faith is walking without needing to see the whole path. Faith is trusting that every step you take is leading you to something greater. Faith is knowing that even when things seem impossible, God is already working behind the scenes to make a way. There will be moments when doubt tries to creep in, when fear whispers that things will never change, but you must hold on to what you know to be true. You must stand firm in the belief that God's plan for you is good, that His promises are true, that He is faithful even when you cannot see the outcome. Nothing is wasted. Every setback, every disappointment, every tear you have shed, it is all part of a divine design. The pain is not random. It is purposeful. It is pushing you toward the version of yourself that you were always meant to become. You may feel weary. You may feel as if you have been waiting for too long, as if nothing is shifting. But remember this, delays are not denials. The waiting season is not wasted time. It is the space where you are being strengthened, where your faith is being deepened, where your heart is being prepared to receive the abundance that is on its way. Think about a mother carrying a child. She does not see the baby growing, but she knows that within her life is forming. She waits with expectation, knowing that at the right time, what has been developing in secret will be revealed. The same is true for your blessings. They are forming. They are growing. Even if you do not yet see them, they are on their way. What is meant for you will not pass you by. The enemy may try to convince you that you have missed your opportunity, that too much time has passed, that your best days are behind you, but that is a lie. Nothing can stop what God has already ordained for your life. What has been delayed will be restored. What has been blocked will be opened. The enemy does not have the final say. God does. You must hold on to your vision even when everything around you suggests otherwise. You must believe in your victory even when you do not yet see it. Speak as if it is already done. Walk as if you have already received it. Align your mind, your heart, and your words with the truth that all things are working together for your good. Faith is not passive, it is active. It requires you to move, to believe, to step forward even when the path is unclear. It requires you to trust, to surrender, to let go of doubt and embrace certainty. You are not waiting for a blessing, you are walking toward it. With every act of faith, with every word of belief, you are pulling your future into your present. The moment you truly believe that your situation is shifting, it begins to shift. The moment you truly embrace the truth that God is working in your favor, doors begin to open. It is not about waiting for a miracle. It is about aligning yourself with the miracle that has already been set in motion. Your words hold power. Your thoughts shape your reality. Speak as if the blessing is already here. Declare that you are favored, that you are victorious, that everything is falling into place. Speak with confidence, with conviction, with the certainty that what you have asked for has already been given. Even when others doubt, even when circumstances suggest otherwise, stand firm in your faith. Do not waver. Do not allow the noise of the world to shake what you know in your spirit to be true. What is coming is greater than what has been. What is ahead of you is far more glorious than what is behind you. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being positioned for something beyond your imagination. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust that the struggles you have faced are birthing something extraordinary. Trust that the tears you have cried are watering the seeds of your destiny. Your current situation is not your final destination. What looks like a closed door is simply a redirection. What seems like a delay is actually divine timing. The blessings that are on their way will not just restore what was lost, they will exceed it. Hold on to faith. Keep speaking life over your circumstances. Walk with the knowing that God has already made a way. Step forward with confidence, because your breakthrough is closer than you think. Everything is shifting in your favor. Everything is aligning for your good. What was once a struggle will soon be a testimony. What was once a burden will soon be a blessing. The best is yet to come. The world may tell you to measure your life by what you can see, by the circumstances in front of you, by the evidence that appears real. But faith does not operate by sight, it operates by knowing. Knowing that even in the darkest hour, the light is already on its way. Knowing that even when you feel like you are at your lowest, something greater is rising within you. What you see is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. The power that moves mountains, the force that speaks life into existence, is already working on your behalf. You were never meant to live by fear. Fear is an illusion, a shadow with no real substance. It exists only in the absence of faith. The moment you choose to trust, fear loses its grip. The moment you stand firm in the truth that all things are working for your good, doubt dissolves like mist before the morning sun. Do not entertain thoughts of lack, of struggle, of defeat. Those thoughts do not belong to you. They are intrusions, distractions, designed to pull you away from the truth that you are already victorious. There is nothing missing in your life, nothing broken, nothing incomplete. What seems like lack is only an illusion created by the mind. In reality, you have already been given everything you need. The path to your blessing is not outside of you, it is within you. The moment you shift your focus from what you lack to what you have, your entire reality changes. Instead of seeing obstacles, you will see opportunities. Instead of feeling defeated, you will feel empowered. Instead of wondering when your breakthrough will come, you will realize it has already begun. Every great blessing is first conceived in the mind. What you dwell upon, you bring into being. If you dwell on struggle, you will see more struggle. If you dwell on abundance, you will attract abundance. The world does not respond to your complaints, it responds to your faith. When you stand in the certainty that what you desire is already yours, the universe has no choice but to align itself to your belief. Do not allow worry to take root. Do not allow frustration to shape your words. Speak life. Speak victory. Speak as if every promise has already been fulfilled. It does not matter how long you have waited. Time is not a limitation for God. What seems delayed is not denied. What seems impossible is already unfolding. The unseen forces working in your favor are greater than anything you can comprehend. Right now, doors are opening that you do not yet see. Right now, solutions are forming that you have not yet discovered. Right now, the seeds you have planted in faith are breaking through the soil, preparing to bear fruit in ways beyond your imagination. There is a rhythm to life, a divine order that cannot be rushed. Just as the ocean waves move in perfect harmony, just as the stars align in celestial precision, your life is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust in this timing. Trust that every closed door was a protection. Trust that every detour was a lesson. Trust that even the pain had a purpose. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly where you need to be. Your thoughts are the architects of your future. If you want to see change, begin within. Shift your perspective and your reality will shift with it. Speak as if you are already blessed and you will become blessed. Walk as if you are already victorious and victory will meet you on the path. Every great change begins with a decision to believe, to trust, to act as if it is already done. Even in the silence, even when it seems like nothing is happening, know that everything is happening. The process is unseen, but it is unstoppable. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It takes root in darkness before it ever breaks the surface. So do not be discouraged when you cannot see the evidence yet. Keep watering your faith. Keep nurturing your belief. What is hidden now will soon be revealed. There is no power that can stop what has been ordained for you. No opposition, no setback, no challenge is greater than the force that is guiding your life. Even when it seems like all odds are against you, remember this. You were never meant to rely on external circumstances. Your power does not come from the world, it comes from within. When you align yourself with divine truth, when you stand firm in your faith, the entire universe must bend in your favor. There will be moments when the world tests you. Moments when it seems easier to give up than to keep believing. But those moments are the very ones that define your breakthrough. When the pressure is the greatest, it is because you are on the verge of something new. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified in fire. And your spirit is being strengthened through every challenge you face. You were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to live in fear, in doubt, in lack. You were meant to rise. You were meant to walk in confidence, to embrace the fullness of life, to receive every blessing that has been set aside for you. Let go of the idea that you have to earn your worth, that you have to strive for your breakthrough. The truth is, it has already been given to you. Your only task is to receive it, to claim it, to walk as if it is already done. What you feel now is temporary. The struggle, the uncertainty, the waiting, it will pass. But what is being built within you will last forever. You are being prepared for something greater. You are being shaped into the person who can hold the blessings that are on their way. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of something beyond your wildest dreams. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not overlooked. Every prayer has been heard. Every tear has been counted. Every hope you have carried in your heart is already being fulfilled. The answers are coming. The doors are opening. The shift is happening. And soon what once seemed impossible will become your reality. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep knowing that the best is yet to come. So stand firm in your faith. Hold on to the truth that your current situation is not your final destination. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of uncertainty is shaping you for something far greater than you can imagine. What once felt like a burden will soon reveal itself as a blessing. What seemed like a setback will be the very thing that propels you forward. Walk with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you will never pass you by. Speak as if it is already done, live as if you have already received, and trust that every step you take is leading you toward the fulfillment of your destiny. The breakthrough is not coming, it is already here. The blessings are not distant, they are unfolding in this very moment. Open your heart, embrace the journey, and know that the best is yet to come.